Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Amityville Union School District Board of Education regular session meeting, June 12th, 2024. It is now 5:32, and I'm calling the meeting to order at this point in time. Presently at the meeting is myself, President Ms. Johnson, Superintendent Dr. James Talbot, First Vice President Jeanette Santos, Second Vice President Carol Seahawk, Trustee Juan Leon. It is anticipated that both Trustee Leslie Kratz as well as Trustee Wendy Knestro will be arriving to the meeting. Also present is Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, Dr. Joan Lang, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Dr. Bridget Wade, Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operation, Ms. Linda Blatzy, as well as the consultant, as well as the financial consultant, Carl Frazier. And Wendy Knestro just arrived, as I said, her and Leslie Kratz will anticipate in coming in. And at this point in time, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session, and Councilor John Sheenan will be arriving as well. For one, advice from counsel regarding a legal complaint, as well as any updates from negotiations and particular person's employment history as well. And I have a motion to go into executive session. So second, Jeanette Santos is first, Carol Seahawk is second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Is that an aye with it? Aye. Aye, sorry. So motion carries 5-0. We will resume open at 5:30 in the Park Avenue event auditorium.
You being here, we're going to resume the open session now at this point in time. So it's now 7:33. We are going to resume the open session of the school board meeting. The Board of Education met in executive session earlier this evening for advice from counsel, as well as particular person's employment history and update regarding negotiations. At this point in time, could you please silence your cell phones? Note the exit to where you're seated, and please join the board in the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Talbot, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you.
Good evening once again to our Board of Education colleagues and community. Tonight we have a number of presentations, and the first will be the presentation of the portrait of a graduate. And leading this presentation will be our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Joan Lang. Let's receive her as she comes.
Thank you, Dr. Talbot. I'm going to ask that Dr. Fernandez, Ms. Grasso, and Ms. Jordan join me at the podium. It's my privilege tonight to present the work of a very hard-working committee. As I mentioned at the last meeting, it was the Blue Ribbon Committee that worked all year, researching work done by other districts, studying the very lengthy 300-page work produced by the Board of Regents Blue Ribbon Committee, and also by surveying our staff and students to identify the characteristics that would become the 7 characteristics of the portrait of a graduate from Amityville High School. After much work, all agreed that tonight we would ask the Board of Education to adopt these 7 characteristics. We believe that our students should leave college and career ready, and that all students should be literate across content areas. They should be innovative problem solvers. They should be culturally competent. They should be socially and emotionally competent. They should be critical thinkers. They should be effective communicators, and they should be global citizens. The Blue Ribbon Committee, with the help of Ms. Jane Grasso and Ms. Connie Jordan, designed a contest to select a logo which would appropriately picture the 7 characteristics. Tonight, it's my privilege to introduce you to the two finalists who were elected by over 300 staff members and students at Amityville High School. They selected these two as the finalists for selection. And at this point, I just need to announce that next year, the teachers and administrators will continue their work in order to determine what evidence we will accept to prove that all graduates can demonstrate each of the 7 competencies. At this point, I would like to introduce you to our two winners, Daniel Maldonado and Kelly Pierce. And Dr. Talbot and Mrs. Johnson will present the certificates to the second place winner, Daniel, and our first place winner, Kelly. I am also very pleased to announce that these two students in the next 2 weeks will each receive a $100 scholarship to put into their fund. Both are juniors, but I'm absolutely sure that they will find good use for the $100.
Our next presentation will be to the recognition of those student scholars, recipients of the New York State Seal of Biliteracy for the 23-24 school year.
Thank you again, Dr. Talbot. And again, it's my privilege to ask Ms. Garcia, the Director of World Language and ENL, to join me at the podium. As many of you will remember, last year was the very first time that the Seal of Biliteracy was awarded to 10 students from Amityville High School. We set as a goal that we would double the number. I am thrilled to announce that this year there are 20 students from Amityville High School who will receive at graduation the Seal of Biliteracy. Congratulations.
Feel like, I'm doing this over again last year, deja vu, but as we know, the New York State Seal of Biliteracy promotes biliteracy in 2 or more languages. And actually, one of our students, one of the 20, will be receiving the Seal of Biliteracy in English and 2 languages. So English, French, and Haitian Creole. So out of the 20 students, English in another language, and 1 student will be receiving a different medallion that stands out that she has 3 languages under her belt. So that's a pretty amazing accomplishment. So the New York State Seal of Biliteracy promotes biliteracy, and it shows proficiency in English and another world language. And there's different pathways where you can receive the Seal of Biliteracy. In English, you need to receive an 80 on the Regents or higher. You need to have in grade 11 and 12 an average of 85 or above in your courses. And you need to do a culminating project. So you need a total of 3 points in English and in a world language. And in Spanish or French or whatever language you are studying, you need the same 85 or higher in your courses, a checkpoint C exam, an AP exam, and a culminating project. And these students did an incredible job on these projects. And we had the honor of having Ms. Santos join us as one of the evaluators this year. And it was an amazing experience for all. So I want to congratulate these students. They were amazing. And it was so nice to be a part of this another year. Congratulations. So the following students that are receiving the seal of biliteracy this year are Ariel Amaya, Marlon Casasola Guzman, Margaret Cotron, Angel Chica Diaz, Winifred Espinal, Ariel Fernandez, Ruben Hernandez, Anthony Martinez Romero, Tatiana Martinez, Kazima Muwakil, Jordan Orellana, Liliana Ramirez Reyes, Jeriel Robles, Ashlyn Rodriguez Orellana, Luis Rojas, Jalen Sanchez, Amin Shah, Magina Sincere, who is the student who will be receiving it in English and two or more languages. Martin Siri and Ramon Yanes. Congratulations.
And I failed to announce that many of our seniors are on the senior trip today, therefore preventing them from being in two places at once. And as though 20 biliteral candidates were not enough of an honor, we are pleased to, and it's Dr. Divas here. I missed her before. Did she join us this evening? I didn't see her before. Dr. Divas, French teacher at the high school, took her students to Half Hollow Hills last Thursday night to receive the awards for their students' results on the National French exam, Le Grand Concours. And we have, and are so proud of, a silver medal winners, students who scored in the 94th percentile. Eddie Chavez, Anne St. Louis, Regina Sincere, and Cosey Thomas. If any of them would come up. In the bronze medal category, students who were in the 84th percentile, Stephanie Benitez, Grace Luis, Isabel Luis, and Dara Policott. And I would be remiss if I did not tell you that Dara is 4th in the county, in the top 10 in the nation. And Grace Luis is number 6 in the county and top 10 in the nation. Also Stephanie, who scored 5th in the county and again, the top 10 in the nation. Amazing, amazing results. Congratulations to all of our students who have already demonstrated the characteristic of being bilateral and competent across all content areas. Thank you very much.
Dr. Lang, if you would just remain for a moment, we'd like to thank you for your work on the profile of the graduate, the seal of biliteracy, and we say to you that your work speaks for itself. Thank you so very much.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special evening where we come together to honor our incredible, dedicated, hardworking, and passion of our esteemed staff members. This evening is a special occasion when we not only celebrate years of service, but also bid farewell to valued members of our team. Firstly, let me express my deepest gratitude to each and everyone who has reached significant milestones in their career. Your commitment to education and to the success of your students is truly inspiring. You are the foundation on which our district stands, and it is your unwavering dedication that shapes the future of the Amityville community. As we turn to our retirees, the moment is bittersweet. As we celebrate your remarkable careers, we also acknowledge that your presence will be dearly missed. Over the years, you have touched countless lives, imparting knowledge, wisdom, and the love of learning. Your legacy will live on in the hearts and minds of your students and colleagues. I wish you the best as you embark on this new chapter in your life. May it be filled with joy, relaxation, make sure you do that, and fulfillment of all your dreams. Please be reminded that your work is not just a job, it's a calling. And of all, you have answered that. Thank you very much for your dedication and excellence. At this time, I would like to turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Talbot, who will say a few words.
Once again, good evening. Tonight, it is my distinct pleasure to recognize the remarkable dedication and service of so many of our staff members who are celebrating 20, 25, and 30 years of service. It is no small feat, and it speaks volumes to your commitment to our student scholars and our mission here in the Amityville School District. For those celebrating 20 years with us and 25 years, those 2 decades of service have been marked by countless contributions and unwavering dedication. Your consistency, your passion, your perseverance have impacted many student scholars' lives. You have likely witnessed everything from floppy disk to cloud computing. And through it all, you've remained a constant source of support and wisdom. And we thank you for your hard work and commitment. For those celebrating 30 years, 3 decades of service is an extraordinary achievement. Your career with the Amityville School District has witnessed and contributed to significant educational advancements. Your legacy will be remembered for many years to come. You've seen trends come and go, from chalkboards to smartboards. You've been there to see it all. Let's not forget, you've survived countless fads and fashion trends, both in the classroom and in the staff room. It just has a different name as it cycles around. To those who are retiring, we want to thank you, because this marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, filled with new adventures and opportunities. Your departure, of course, is always bittersweet, and we are happy for you as you embark upon your new journey. You've earned the right to say goodbye to early alarms, the grading marathons, the wonderful, entertaining staff meetings. And from now on, your assignments might include deciding between a beach day and a garden day. And your meetings will hopefully be entertained with family and friends. We wish you a retirement filled with joy and fulfillment. Thank you for everything you have done for the Amityville School District.
So at this time, I would like to call our retirees who are present. I'm going to begin with Dr. Fran Fernandez, our Administrator, Director of Performing Arts. Dr. Collins, can you please come up? Dr. Collins will be speaking on her behalf.
Good evening. Board of Education, Central Administration, staff, community members, students. They chose me to be the first one tonight, and I have 1 minute. Is that what I have? Or 2 minutes? But it's a pleasure to be and an honor to stand here and speak on behalf of Dr. Fernandez. I call her Franny. And Dr. Fernandez has given 36 years to education, 31 of which have been in Amityville. And I met Fran, the first time I met her, we were at a faculty meeting, staffing meeting, and she was fighting and advocating for her department. And as a new administrator, I said to myself, oh my gosh, maybe one day I'll have the courage to fight as hard as she does. And she continues to fight. She is leaving behind really quite a legacy in the Amityville School District. She has so many accolades, I can't even name them. She served on the NISCAM Suffolk Executive Board for several years. She was president of NISCAM Suffolk County during 2020 and 2021. She served as the SCHEMIA Executive Board. She's a NISMA educator for strings since 2000, which is 24 years. She developed an awesome team with music and art departments in the district. She was named, the Amityville was named as best community for music education since 2009. In addition to all of these accolades, Dr. Fernandez, and many people may not know that about her, but she has a talent, and her talent is bringing order to chaos. And whenever you have a scheduling problem, or during the time of COVID, when we were trying to figure out how are we going to do this hybrid and how the schedule was going to work, and we had many meetings where we walked away and not knowing what to do. And then the next morning, we get an email, I think I have an idea that will work. And it was an idea that worked. And that model that we had with the hybrid in and out was really Dr. Fernandez's brain that went to work and kind of organized and laid that out for us. And as she has lent those talents to the numerous committees that she has led over the years, the Blue Ribbon Committee, the Professional Development Committee, and organizing our superintendent's conference days. What other committees are you on, French? She's on the Digital Literacy Committee with me. You've been on the Report Card Committee. So I do not know what we're gonna do without Dr. Fernandez, and I hope that she continues to stay involved with us. One of the things too that I tell Fran, amidst the COVID pandemic, we always got good news from the arts and music department. Do you guys remember that? Every now and then, good news from the music and art department. And that good news helped us in more ways than one when we've been getting all those bad news. Oh my gosh, I could hear the music playing, the Oscar music. But Fran, I just want to say one of the things I will remember about you is no matter what's going on, her famous saying is, it will work out, you'll see. Everything will be okay, you'll see. So we're gonna take that, we're gonna need that everything will be okay, you'll see for a while. So I hope that we keep getting those good news and you keep sharing our encouraging us from where you are. And I hope that you'll get to read all the James Patterson books that you want. And we wish you good health and happiness in your retirement.
Our next retiree is Dr. Tanya Bates, instructional supervisor. And Dr. Lang will be speaking on her behalf.
I am a tad sad, but terribly honored to speak tonight on behalf of Dr. Tanya Bates. When Dr. Bates joined the Amity family 21 years ago, she wrote in her application that she thought that students needed to be uplifted and taught that although mathematics does not come easily to some, that shouldn't or doesn't mean that they cannot do it. She also wrote that students, like athletes and musicians and artists, need to practice in order to be good mathematicians. And indeed, over the last 21 years, as a teacher, as the department chair, as the advisor to the Black Union, Student Union, and as a member of so many committees, I can't possibly list them here. And most recently, as a member of the prestigious Bates, Gigante, Lang curriculum and instruction team. She has positively affected thousands of students and hundreds of teachers and administrators. It is important for you to know that in the tradition of Dr. Bates, her retirement will be filled completely First, her voracious appetite for books will no longer be interrupted with late-night texts from the boss asking for just one more task before morning. Second, more time can be spent with her two amazing daughters, about whom she often brags. More time, too, with two of her favorite dogs, her favorite Graham and her second favorite Ziggy. More importantly, for all of us, her work will continue to be as an influential teacher, for she has taken a job as a national staff developer. Tanya, on behalf of a grateful district, thank you for your phenomenal service, for sharing your passion for mathematics. And my wish for you is that this is the first of at least 10 retirements.
Our next retiree is Jacqueline Floyd, a teacher from the Northeast School. Speaking on her behalf is Dr. Pauline Collins.
I'm here again. It's, it's going, Dr. Talbert is here as my, to pull my dress. So this one is actually really very hard for me. And Jackie, I'm honored to meet your family tonight, because when I first met her, I said, wow, what grace, what class, what humility. I mean, Miss Floyd, I said to her, if my children were lucky to come to the Amityville School District, I would want my girls in your class. Because Miss Floyd, she just has this kind and warm and gentle manner about her. And that creates such a nurturing environment for the students, for the families who are putting their children in school for the first time. And I've had the opportunity to observe her 2 times a year in many and watch her as she carries out her practice with excellence and kindness. And she has transformed so many lives. So Miss Floyd started in the district as a teaching assistant, then she was a substitute teacher, then she was the teacher for displaced students in the elementary grades, and then she became a pre-K teacher for the last 28 years. And when I met her, she was the single mother of 3 handsome young men, one of whom is here today with his wife. And she is a phenomenal mother, a phenomenal teacher, a positive force at Northeast School, a valuable member of the building leadership team for the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years now. And we look to her for the voice of reason, calm. We're really going to miss you. And pre-K will not be the same without you. But I'm hoping that the only noses that you'll wipe and shoelaces that you'll tie will be those of your grandchildren. and that you will, I wish you well, I wish you happiness, I wish you good health. And please stay in touch. We don't let go of people, so you will always be a part of the Northeast family. And we thank you for your commitment to the district.
Next, we have Kathleen Thorne, teacher at Park Avenue. And speaking on her behalf is her daughter, Katie Thorne.
Hi, good evening, Dr. Talbert, members of the board, administrators, community, and families. I'd like to congratulate all of the retirees celebrating this evening. I hope that there is a lot of fun and adventure and relaxation in your future. I would also like to congratulate everyone else on their many years of dedicated service to the Amityville School District. I'm here to speak for my mom, of course, Kathleen Thorne, who is retiring at the end of this school year. My mom has dedicated the last 35 years of her life to this district. She was not only a teacher, but served as an integral member of the school community. She was a mentor for newly hired teachers to help guide and support them. She was a teacher representative for the Amityville Parent-Teacher Council. My mom also spearheaded the local action project for the Amityville Teachers Association. During that time, which I'm now a member of course, she organized the annual breast cancer and autism awareness fundraisers, a food pantry for students through Long Island Cares, an annual back-to-school supply giveaway, among other social events for the school community. She also led a peer tutoring group and a mathletes club for an after-school program. My mom did all of these things over the years while also being an incredibly giving and caring mother and wife, and she is now the most loved Dappa by her two-year-old granddaughter, Faye. Aside from being an active member within the Amityville school community, we cannot forget her most important role, a teacher. My mom still has a note from one of her students that says, "Thank you for teaching us like there's no tomorrow," which she certainly did. My mom truly has a gift and always found a way to reach every single one of her students. She made sure that each of them reached their full potential. Not only did she help her students academically, but she impacted them in so many other ways. I remember visiting my mom at school over the past several years and seeing not only the way that she cared for her students, but the way that they respected and appreciated her. My mom always said that she treated and spoke to her students the same way that she treated and spoke to my sister and me, which sometimes could have been a little scary. I'm just kidding. If she ever raised her voice, which was rare, we knew we deserved it. My mom truly cared for each and every student just as if they were her own. One of her prior students shared a favorite memory recently, which was, "What I remember most about Mrs. Thorne is that she called me during the quarantine to wish me a happy birthday." She was the only teacher to do that. Another student who currently goes to the high school sent an email that said, "Mrs. Thorne was one of the best, if not the best ELA teacher at Park Avenue. She will always hold a special place in my heart for being the most patient and kind teacher I met." I can't look at you. I knew that if 10-year-old me had a problem or was worried about anything, I could come to her for whatever matter. There are so many more memories that students have shared about her, but we would really be here all night. It's very evident that my mom has made a tremendous impact on her students and the entire Amityville community over the past 35 years. But as she likes to say, she is retiring from her teaching career. She is not retiring from her commitment and support to the Amityville School District. You will definitely be seeing her around.
Our next retiree is Julianne Russell, teaching assistant at Park Avenue School, and Nicole Baxter will be speaking on her behalf.
Good evening, everyone. Julianne Russell began her career in Amityville schools in 1998, while her own children, James and Emily, were still attending and would become successful alumni, with James graduating in 2004 and Emily in 2007. Julie started as a part-time monitor at Park Avenue and eventually became one of the district's standout special education teaching assistants. Julie put in several years as a teaching assistant within the ICT inclusion setting. Many of her most memorable years were also spent in Sue Koopman's life skills classroom. Julie's kindness and patience while working was apparent to anyone who entered that classroom. She managed the students' busy schedules and busy school store with patience and ease. In 2019, I was given the opportunity to work with Julie as the TA in my 1211 special class. With her knack for reading my mind and saying it all with just one look, Julie helped me navigate my first year within this setting. That December, Julie suffered the loss of her beloved husband, Jim. When she returned to our classroom, myself and the other staff members were prepared to help her through each day. However, she was the one inspiring all of us daily with her positivity and resilience, which encompassed her family motto of "You got this." 3 months later, COVID shut down. You got this. Hybrid learning. You got this. New grade level after 20-something years. You got this. For the past 5 years, with Julie by my side as the most amazing teaching assistant, we've approached each day in the special class setting following that very motto. Last summer, I received some devastating news. Right away, I called my right-hand lady, Julie, who unwaveringly said, "You got this." And that calming presence carried me through a personally challenging school year. Julie is truly the definition of a team player, going beyond the classroom as a bus monitor for students with special needs, as well as the building rep for her union. Julie, you should be proud of your 26 years of service to the Amityville School District. You have inspired and touched the lives of countless students and staff. Here's to your next amazing chapter in life as full-time Grandma Juju and part-time world traveler. You got this.
Finally, we have our track coach that everyone knows. He retired from our district, but now he's retiring from coaching. Mr. Reynolds Hawkins. Speaking on his behalf is Jerry Pollock.
Reynolds is about, we'll go back to the beginning. He was an 8th grader when I first noticed him. I was a coach at the high school and a track team, and I should have brought him up in 8th grade, but I didn't know if he could pass those tests, which was stupid of me back then. In 9th grade, he broke 2 school records. The bastard broke my school record. But he didn't just break it. I was 10:01 in the 2-mile, and he was 9:27. So he beat me by just a little bit. I could put up with that. And through the years, all state his freshman year and cross country, different things he went on to. You can tell. I don't know if you can guess what school he went to. FAMU, Florida A&M. Very successful career down there. After graduating, he ended up becoming joined the Air Force, was an MP in the Air Force. Then finishing that up, he became a Tallahassee, I think it was Tallahassee, police officer, and which he wasn't real happy with, but he was doing it and became a social worker. That's where he wanted to get into. Came back up here, coached at different schools in the area. And I guess he was now online with computers and everything else, doing social work, people reporting to him on the computer and everything, and then him handling those situations. Well, I know he coached in the Lutheran High, and I know he coached at Bayshore for a couple of years, but then all of a sudden, Amityville had a social workers opening. And he was at a track meet, same one I was at, the same one our superintendent was at, because his daughter ran, I think, for East Islip High School, and it was a junior senior meet. And they got introduced and they met, and The next day, he showed up for an interview, and almost right away, he had the job. I think he argued over money. I'm not sure, but he won. Actually, no, he didn't win. The district won. I mean, he's done, everyone knows about the track, but I mean, he's done wonderful things. I mean, he had the college tours that he took kids on. You didn't get to just go on a college tour. You had to earn your college tour with your grades. You're not going unless you have the grades and you have the teachers backing you on this trip. And he could take only so many people. But I think, you know, the bus was full all the time, and they went as far down as Florida. And there was almost every day, there was a different stop, a different college to visit. And half the time, we had people involved in that college. People that ran track for Amityville or were associated with Amityville. He was always in touch with people. In fact, even today, I can't tell you how many times he's on the phone with coaches from college, other universities and stuff, who are interested in our kids. And, you know, the fact that one of the things that's interesting is our first track meeting is with seniors, and he goes over, this is what I want you to do. This is what you need to do. They got to have NCAA clearance, which we want to get them, and juniors get that, which means you take the right courses that colleges can take you if they want you. And then, you know, you keep in touch, and we find out where is the best fit for these kids and that they want to go to and all that stuff. So he's constantly working on that. As far as records go, well, we've been, I guess, since 1996, we've been coaching together. He's the head coach, which I love. I don't have to pay attention at meetings. I don't have to do all those Saturday things. It's an unbelievable amount of work. And then it's dealing with the kids. And the kid, Art, I'll tell you what, well, this is my 53rd year coaching in Amityville. And I have never had teams like I've had with the track team. I mean, people expect us to be one way when we show up. First off, no one curses. Because once one person has something slip out of his mouth, everyone does push-ups. It doesn't matter if it wasn't you, you know, and it's just, that caught on real quick, and all of a sudden, oh, you know, so it works, and our behavior at meets are superb. I got mad at our team at a meet, and it was at Newfield. You weren't there. Oh, I guess I'm talking too much. Well, real quick, I couldn't find our guys. And finally I find them. They're on the track putting away the other team's equipment. And I'm going, they don't even do that for us. And, you know, but that's how they're trained in what we're expecting from them. Reynolds, it was a pleasure working with you. I don't know who's going to be able to replace you. But you had a fantastic go. I think we've had in the last 22 years, we've had probably 8 losses out of 150 wins and dual meets. We've done very well. The kids have done very well. So congratulations. I know the school's going to miss you.
So next we have our 20 years of service. And when I call your name, please just come up and please accept a token of our district's appreciation. Andrew Babington. Victoria Buonamo. Maria Carua. Teresa Copiana Villa. Lisa Ionata. Cynthia Idrovo. Deborah Lee. Francis O'Brien. Anna Ortez. And Sandra Whitney. Congratulations. With 25 years in the district, we have Margaret Brooks. Jacqueline Brown Fields. Robert Claps. Nancy Davy Ortez. Gail Davis. Donna Pesatelli. And Nakia Wolf. And tonight, with 30 years of experience, 30 years, we have Jean Reese. Now, President Johnson would like to say a few words.
Good evening. I'll make this quick. I just want to take a few moments just to acknowledge two people on the board who have dedicated years of service to our district. One person in particular, Jeanette Santos, she attends every single event within this district, every single event within this district. So we just want to take a few minutes to say thank you so much for your years of service to Jeanette Santos and Juan Leon.
At this time, we'll take a break for a small reception outside and photo ops. All right, have a good evening.
Who would like to stay, you can go out in the hallway, continue to talk and then enjoy the refreshments out that way. Because at this point in time, we are going to resume our Board of Education meeting. And if I could have Dr. Lang join us back and Dr. Waite, that'll be great. At this point in time, we will take community input on agenda items only. So community input on agenda items at this point in time.
Margaret Shuff, Amityville. I have a question on the board action recommended, C1, the employment agreement for the district clerk. I'm asking if the district clerk received an increase in pay.
Just for clarification, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Talbot, or even legal, Mr. Sheenan. This employment agreement is for the 23-24 year. This is not for the 24-25 year. It's an
Why-
amendment. It's an amendment to the agreement. And Mr. Sheen, if you want to explain, I appreciate it.
That's correct. Amendment to the 23.
So it's so she never had an agreement this
She
whole
had an
time?
She had an agreement. This is an amendment to the agreement to add a term.
Just, you got to go into the mic a little bit because no one can hear you. Sprinkle.
Sure. So
Thank you.
there was a term that was previously agreed upon that was not added to the original contract. So this is an amendment to add that additional term to the contract that's for the 23-24 school year.
No financial difference?
So in terms of the financial difference, it was a term that was agreed upon employment, and it's a term that is to be fulfilled within this school year.
So it was financial.
It would be financial, yes.
And are you allowed to disclose that financial? Because there was a line item in the budget that there was an increase in the district clerk. So I was wondering if that had to do with this particular item.
Sure. I mean, we can advise what the additional term is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Yes.
the additional term is a health insurance buyback. There was a health insurance buyback that was promised to district clerk as part of her taking the job. It was a term that was left out of the contract. The health insurance buyback is now inserted into the contract.
Because she doesn't take the district's
Correct.
insurance, so you get a stipend or whatever that's
Yes,
paid
yeah.
buyback or work.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
thank you.
piggyback off of
Thank you for that.
clerical contract.
And C2, the independent investigation, can you elaborate on what that is, what it costs, and is there a cap, and what's it revolve around?
So that's a confidential investigation. We can't elaborate on what that is about in certain terms of a cost of investigation that could be available upon request. If you put a FOIL request
Yeah.
in for the cost, we can.
I'm
provide
putting
you
in a
the
request right now then.
Okay, we'll make note of
Okay,
it.
Thank you. Okay, and the board action for 3A, consultant services for Mr. Frazier. So I'm thinking that I think it was $175,000 that was going to be part of the legislative
Yes.
person, whomever gave that money
In the
to
jump
save
here.
you all. So at what point is that 175 totally for this consult services for Mr. Frazier?
Yes.
Okay, so my question to you is, at what point are we going to double down on every financial representative in this district that we're paying double?
So
When does the bloodbath stop?
So I will start to answer the question, then I'll pass it on to Dr. Talbot. So Kimberly Jean-Pierre provided the district with the $2 million. Part of that money was the 175 for a financial consultant. That is only for 1 year, and that's it. So
Right.
and as we move forward, there's been, like stated before, there's been a number of controls that have been put in place. And that as a district, we will continue to do that. And then we'll go from there. Dr. Talbot, I'm not too sure if there's anything else you want to add.
That pretty much sums it up. He is not to exceed 175,000 that was allocated in the additional $2 million state aid that was allocated to the district.
What's the time frame for this $175,000?
It's the 24-25 school year. And he would receive a per diem rate of $1,200, and it would not exceed 175,000 for the year.
Okay, so it's just one school year, one fiscal school year. Okay. It's not even a year. That's only like, what's a school year?
It's
comprised
July,
of?
July 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2025.
Okay, so it is a year. Okay, I apologize for that. And the consultant services agreement for Dr. Lang. I see that's like a month overlap. Is this part of your like succession plan? Like how much does that cost? What is the nut
So
for that?
the purpose of that consultant agreement is to provide a transitional plan the new assistant superintendent for curriculum, if approved tonight, will begin August 1st. Dr. Lang's last day with the district as the assistant superintendent is June 30th. This agreement would provide us a bridge of 15 days between the end of her employment and the beginning of the new assistant superintendent's employment.
And what's the cost and cap for
The
that?
per diem rate is $900
A day?
per day at 15 days.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
could just confirm your request for the information with an email to the district clerk, so I don't forget it. Thank you.
Good evening. My first question on the agenda is a lot of my name's Debbie McClellan, I'm sorry. A lot of the items, the resolutions, some of them have a dollar figure, some of them don't. We've talked about this in the past. When you're passing the resolution to actually include the amount of what it's costing, whether it be a contract or employment.
So, as we move forward as a Board of Education with, Dr. Talbot, that's what we can do. We can include
I-
the
I
cost.
think that would be advisable because. it was
Just hold
as-
up 1 second, Ms. Buatsi, can you just move the projector because you can't see the timing? Yeah. No, you can't see on the screen. The white projector, yeah. Yeah.
Probably gotta push it
Yeah.
to the right a little bit. The wheels, you can just move the wheels.
Just,
Probably gotta push the.
you may need a helper out there.
think if you push the-
Yeah, he'll do it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're done, okay.
Yes. go.
All right, so I really just wanted to stress that one again. On the district clerk, you said it was gonna be a retro situation with the insurance. The dates used on the resolution are July 1st. She didn't start July 1st, so we're gonna use the date of when she started.
So it's, and you, please correct me, Mr. Sheenan, it's not, retro, it's gonna be something that will be paid out.
Right, so so the buyback gets paid at the end of the year. So if you don't take the contract for the entire term, then you get the buyback. So it's not retro like a stipend or a payment over the course of the year. It will just be one payment in June.
I understand that, but the resolution dates
I
the
understand that, but
agreement
that's-
of
that's-
July 1st. She didn't
that's-
start.
Right, but that's the contract. That's the year contract.
Okay. Understand. The difference between, on the, PPS, special education, going from administrator to director. What does that mean?
Dr. Talbot, thank you. She's talking about agenda item 3A3.
sorry.
383, Table of Organization, modification for the Department of Special Ed and PPS.
Yes.
The present title is Administrator 4. The AAA union, to build cohesion, it's Director. And so as we begin to post for the new position, we would like for that person to come in with the similar same title as others in the union. So it would be Director.
So the functions are all the same, the responsibilities?
Pretty much, we're analyzing the functions that were done and the functions that will be included, but they will all be in concert with
Okay.
that role.
And the 3B, 4, and 5, I just was very confused with this one because it talks about a current contract, 23, 24 current contract. It doesn't make mention of an amendment. So you're going to execute an agreement that has a date of 23, 24 for two people.
So I will start to respond and I'll pass it over to Dr. Talbot or to John, right?
Sure. So these two agreements.
Just bring the mic closer because people.
Sure. These two agreements are agreements that are retroactive for this school year. And so they provide for an agreement. These agreements were initially brought forward, were not approved, and they are being approved for the year. So you have a basis, and now the next year would be 24, 25. So these are retroactive agreements back to the start of the year.
All right, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but does that mean people were working without an agreement?
So so they were working under the terms of the last agreement. They
But that
were-
applies to
they w-
administrators?
Well, they were working under the terms of their prior agreement that ended June 30th, 2023.
I
So-
didn't know individual contracts worked like that.
Yes. So-
Okay.
Okay.
For the health services of the other schools and the, I know it's all in the budget, right? These aren't new bills. These are bills that are coming in at the end of the year. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to ask about that. With the transfer of the 10,000 for the forensic audit, just wanna, don't wanna beat a dead horse, but the resolution to approve the forensic audit was used. Forensic audit was actually in the resolution. Here you are authorizing money to be transferred to pay for the forensic audit, but yet the auditor said it's not a forensic audit. So it's just very confusing to us because that's the only term that was ever used. And the resolution, which is not written on paper anywhere in the agenda, the minutes, because it was a walk-on, and you don't attach your resolutions to your minutes, I had to watch the video again and I transcribed it. And it's clearly for a forensic audit.
And the bill that we received also states for forensic audit as well. The company also stated that they were a forensic audit, so
Okay.
we can always, we were going to follow back up with them.
Okay. Because a
Just to
forensic
find out
audit,
why it says forensic report and not forensic audit.
yeah, it's a different product.
Mhm,
And I think the
understood.
lawyer will correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a different product.
Right.
That has different outcomes. And I remember asking you,
Mm.
are you going to stand by this forensic audit?
Yes.
That's what you said. So then we have the, I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, the contract for special ed services. Are these contracts that you just set up and then IEPs will dictate whether you use them or the IEPs already say we need them?
Dr. Talbot?
So the health and welfare contracts are vendors that provide the services that have been identified on IEPs.
Right.
And so they are secured as needed, as the
As
service.
needed.
Yes,
So once an IEP is established, then it's verified and then you use those services of those providers.
yes.
Okay, so we got a whole revamping of that whole system going on based on.
Yes,
okay.
we do.
So,
Um,
just excuse me a second, Ms. Watts, we gotta start the timer. Yeah, because
Okay, I only have one last one.
you can hold off until she's done, but we're already sort of getting close to just the 15 minutes of,
Curriculum and instruction, you have 3 programs listed for 2023 through 2024. Are these programs that have already, they must have already happened because the school year is coming to an end. So are they being approved retroactively? Are they already paid for, or do you also have to approve that retroactively?
Dr. Talbot, I'll let you or Dr. Lang
So
answer.
the work for these projects were done in the 23-24 school year. And the work that Dr. Lang has led this year will be asking the board to adopt the finished products. You want to elaborate a little?
Yes, exactly. They were finished during this year. They will take effect beginning in September if the board approves all 3.
Okay, I'm just asking because you're asking for approval for the current year.
The reference to 23-24 is a reference to the project itself, which was just completed.
Kind of like a name. You're putting a name on it, like the 23-24 project.
Yes, correct. For each one of the projects that was completed this year.
Okay,
It takes effect once the board adopts it with the policy 4020. The requirement is that it goes from the Curriculum Advisory Council to the superintendency and then to the Board of Education for adoption.
and there's money for it in the budget. It's already been budgeted for?
Yes, the money was paid out of this year's budget.
Okay, all right. That's it for the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other agenda item questions?
Good evening, everyone. Pat Hobson, Amityville, New York. I'm here this evening. I had sent an email to all of the board members earlier today. Did you receive it?
If we, like, I have not looked at my email since about like, so we may have received it, but I have not looked at my emails recently. so.
Okay, so around 4 or 5 o'clock, I sent an email to all of the board members, including the district clerk, regarding a communication that I had received, and I thought it was the information was valuable enough that it was worth your seeing. I saw tonight's agenda, and I was not here last week. I tried to make as many board meetings as I could. I stand as a member of this community with a continual concern for our children to have educators and teachers that look like them. We'll have a new board in a few months, and a lot of the diversity that's on the school board, we will no longer have. We had 2 teachers and an administrator that was recognized this evening, and it was wonderful, that are leaving the district that represents a large population of this community. The research shows that children, diverse children, benefit by having educators that looks like them. And I believe we're in agreement, because over and over again, community members have come to the podium to speak about wanting more diversity for the teachers for our children. Yet and still, we have an administrator that represents diversity, that has a proven record of what she has done for the school district. A few years ago, the middle school was on a list, right? She turned that middle school around. She's been recognized by New York State Department of Education, organizations on Long Island, educational organizations on Long Island has acknowledged the great work that she's done. But yet and still, the community, the district where she has done these things, continue to not grant her tenure. Now, I don't know this woman personally. When my children were here, she wasn't here. But I believe in research. I believe in data. I'm concerned, I'm disappointed, and I really feel disrespected as a community member that school board members who claim you speak on behalf of the community refuse to do the right thing. This woman has been here and she's been moved around, but yet and still, you can't grant her the voice or the acknowledgement of what she deserves. Council, I don't know your role in executive sessions, but I know that you swear in all of these trustee members to uphold the Constitution. But yet and still, they have a right to give a vote that should be absent of any vendettas, personal issues or concerns. I don't get it. I don't understand where the problem is. I'm an educator by profession. Administration is a lonely profession within education. We don't necessarily have friends in our teachers that we work with. So there are times that teachers are annoyed with administrators, and oftentimes it's because the administrator is holding teachers, paras, other persons accountable for whatever. So when they don't get what they want or they don't like something, then they hold grudges and they call board members to have a problem. Or if a board member's child gets in trouble.
So let's just, I think you've.
My point
I think
is,
you've
I
made your
don't
point.
understand
Yeah.
why
Right.
that the district is putting a professional through a rigmarole. Now, I read something here about an extension of a tenure something. I don't know if it refers to her or someone else, but what are we doing with giving extensions? If the person doesn't,
I think
So-
for this, go ahead.
So, personnel matters are for executive session discussion.
I understand.
So, in your discussion, you can make statements about general matters.
Absolutely.
So I would just ask that you maintain it as a general statement.
And I believe I did because I did not mention a name. So you
I know,
can
I know.
surmise whomever you
I'm not
want.
surmising anything.
Okay.
I'm just giving the
I got you.
guidelines.
I got you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I appreciate that. But I still remain disappointed at the board because you're supposed to respond to what we expect. You know what we need for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have maybe about, I didn't set the timer from the beginning, but looking at the clock, there's only maybe about another maybe 3 or 4 minutes for agenda items.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Sally Thompson. Ms. Sanchez, you know me quite well.
Just, if you can just bring the microphone down a little bit.
You know me quite well because you were going to be personally sued by me. I was the principal of Northeast School.
Just, just have to speak into the mic because we can't hear you. Just, you have to stay in front of the mic. Yeah.
I was the principal of Northeast School approximately 40 years ago. And it was the decision of the Board of Education to terminate me. I retired after 42 years as Deputy Superintendent of Schools in Hempstead Public School, for which immediately when I left Amityville, they were waiting for me. They couldn't get me fast enough to go to Hempstead. I'm not going to tell you who invited me here this evening, but I was invited. And I was asked to come to speak on behalf of a young lady who you are considering termination. I'm going to say personally that I will walk with her.
We're not considering termination of anyone at this point in time.
All
No.
right, I know it's an executive session item.
No, but we're not considering
However,
termination.
I would like to read you a letter because I will walk with you. Not only as a result of you terminating me, did you have to pay me off that I bought myself a
I'm
new
sorry.
house.
Excuse me.
Also,
This is a matter of
excuse me, let me
litigation.
finish.
No, this is, unfortunately, you can't finish with what you want to read. Legal would have to take a look at it. You can't,
Legally, you can take a look at it. It's
You-
your letter.
you can't, but go ahead.
It's your
Go ahead,
letter.
Mrs. Sheenan.
So this is a matter of litigation. I don't
it's
know what
your
you're
letter.
about to read, but you just stated it's a matter of litigation. So,
No, it's not a matter of litigation. It's a
it-
matter
it
that I
was-
want to remind you.
so you
that-
can provide that letter to me and I'll take a look at it
Here
and
you
I'll
are,
review
here's
the
the
issue.
letter.
But I'd ask you
It
not to
says-
discuss it at this time.
There's nothing in it that's going to harm
Yes.
anyone. It just says in its.
But you,
essential-
until he reviews it, you cannot discuss it. So let him review what's there.
It's not legible.
The letter was laminated in wood. And because it was laminated, Judge Mishler, who was the judge at the time, told me that my grandchildren could sue you for what you did. Because not only,
So
Did you
you
have
can't,
to-
unfortunately, you can't speak on that. And
But-
Mrs. Sheenan, you can correct me on it.
But
please.
let's
I'm sorry, this is a
You
matter of
can't.
litigation. I can't.
let me say this. Not only did you have to reinstate me,
I'm
You had-
I'm
sorry.
sorry,
I'm
but you
me a
cannot
full-
speak on it.
I'm
I'm
asking-
sorry.
asking you to
you had to
refrain.
give me a full letter of apology.
I'm sorry, you cannot continue on it.
But I would like to say that I am told by State Education Department that no one ever has received a full letter of apology from a Board of Education for a termination.
Right.
And you had to reinstate me.
Right,
So
thank you.
before,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, you
Please.
can't continue on with it.
please think
Thank you.
and know what you're doing before you do it.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. To speak at the Board of Education meeting, must you be a resident of Amityville?
No,
No.
you
So
do
it's
not have
open
to.
to anybody in the public?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
I just have one more question. I'm sorry. So my question regarding the consultant agreement with Dr. Lang, does her successor currently is is the successor employed in the district currently?
The recommended successor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, my question to you is, so if that person who we could have, how long we've known that Dr. Lang is leaving, and that we could have probably circumvented this whole $13,500 of consultant fees and had all this done while the school year is still intact. So-
We couldn't because of the process we couldn't because we did not do the process. We did
In
not make,
time.
we did not make a decision. When we did the process for filling one position, it sort of moved things around. So in a few minutes, you'll see what the situation is. So we could not move forward with doing the second position until we fill the first. So you'll see in just a few minutes, you'll understand why. So it's someone that is an internal, but once that person moves, it leaves a vacant spot. So there's a lot of moving pieces. So it's something that we could not have done on a different time frame.
So I'm assuming that we're trying to get the right people in the right role and the right
Yes.
thing, so that we're not doubling up, we're not doubling down, we're not doing all this double work and paying out the yin yang for all of this stuff.
Yeah, this is
So
something
the
that we have to
succession
do.
plan, like, the succession plan should be intact, and the person who's going to take over, who's recommended to take over, probably has basic knowledge of the job, is equipped for the job, will succeed in the job, will overkill the job. Do it, right? But my question is, if you could just change the process so that you're not paying $13,500 for 15 days.
We couldn't
those
change the
little increment-
process. This time around, we couldn't
Okay.
change the process.
Okay, and then my other question was for, that I have to go and write an email to the district clerk for the independent investigation dollar figure. That's all well and good, happy to do it, no problem. But it should, that's all, that's for my knowledge, but I think for the next meeting, that this is publicly asked for a question, I will ask the question, I will email the district, but that figure, that should come back to the next meeting and let the public know that my question rendered X amount of dollars, and let it be publicly known.
All right, so we're only going to take just one more question because we way exceeded the 15 minutes, so.
This is a quick one. Caroline Fanning. Agenda item 3C6, the motion to increase the 2023-2024 budget. Is there a dollar figure for that?
Dr. Talbot?
Yes, I'll ask Ms. Buati.
That's $6,000. And that money is coming from Suffolk Edge.
Okay, there's no resolution in here that says that, but you're gonna vote on it?
It's in-
I didn't see it. Oh, shoot. Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna move on with the agenda. I'm gonna let you.
Be brief. I'll be brief.
We way have, this
There
is
were-
agenda, you only have like 1 minute because we have way exceeded.
There were a number of people that took a long time.
I know, and what
at this
happened was,
podium, But
yeah, what happened was the timer wasn't going, so I'm close to 25 minutes into agenda
Okay.
items, so I'll give you like 2 minutes
Thank
and then
you.
move forward.
Thank you. I'll be brief. So my name is Saba Mchunguzi, and I'm the president of the Central Long Island branch of the NAACP. And speaking in general terms, as was said earlier, I think it's important that this board consider, when granting tenure to educators in this district, that you consider the importance of diversity. And I hate to use the word diversity, but it's important that students see educators that look like them. And I'll ask you a rhetorical question, which is, when is the last time an African-American was granted tenure in this district? It's a rhetorical question, but it's definitely something to think about. And it's something to think about right now when considering another African-American for tenure, considering that the person is qualified and very, very qualified. I need to say that it's not just a matter of diversity, but it's a matter of
someone being qualified. And this district has lost too many qualified people of color for them not being granted it because they were not granted tenure. So I would hope that that does not happen again this time. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point in time, I'm going to move forward. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2A1 through 2AC, please?
Motion.
Wendy Canestro is first.
Second.
Leslie Kretz is second. Any questions regarding the minutes?
I have to recuse myself from 1 through 6. I was not on the board then.
All right, so I'm going to have to move this back. So I'm going to rescind that motion because being that you were not here, I'll go back and I'll separate them out. Okay. So can I have a motion to rescind that motion, please?
Motion.
That's Wendy's first,
Second.
Carol second. All those in favor? Aye. So you're saying from A1 through A6?
Yes, I'll recuse myself.
Right. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2A1 to 2A6, please?
So moved.
Carol Seehoff is first.
Second.
Jeanette Santos is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And one
Recusal.
no recusal. Okay, I got you. All right. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2A7, please?
Motion.
Wendy's first, Jeanette Santos is second. Any questions regarding this agenda item? All right. Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Does anyone need me to do agenda items 2C 1 through 3 separately?
I have a comment on C1.
But nothing separately. I can do it all together.
I can
Okay.
vote on it.
All right. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C1 through C3, please?
So moved. Second.
Carol Seehoff is first. Leslie Kretz is second. Any questions regarding these agenda items?
I would just ask that, I know that something slipped by in an agreement, it should have been in there. I would just hope that going forward, we would look at it more carefully, central administration to look at that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. For agenda items 3A1 through 3, does anyone need me to do anything separately?
Can you take it separate?
Yes. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3A1, please?
So moved.
Wendy Knöchel's first.
Second.
Carol Seehoff is second. Any questions regarding agenda item 3A1, please?
Sure. I wanted to comment on this. This is about the financial consultant. The way it was presented to the community is that there was a $2 million infusion from Albany. Assemblywoman John Pierre secured that. And it was also presented to the community that there was $175,000 earmarked for a financial consultant. I did speak to the chief of staff. She's an attorney over at John Pierre's office. And it was further explained that the only memorialization of the $2 million is in the state budget that says Amityville School District, $2 million. There's no binding requirements for the $2 million. There's no caveat that $175,000 has to be used for a financial advisor. While the Assemblywoman may have expressed her wishes for it, it is up to the district to disseminate it how they want to. Having learned this, which is new to me, this is different from what I learned from being at the meetings. I would say, again, this is business, this is nothing personal, but $175,000 is a lot of money. $1,200 a day comes out to about 145 days for the year. And I think you did explain that it's not every day. I would say that I would not support a large expenditure of $175,000 right now, especially since, reviewing the finances, it seems that we're just under $1 million in deficit again. So I don't think as a fiduciary of the board that I could in good conscience approve this. And if the board does want to consider putting a control in place for this, I would ask the board to widen the net and either
look for another CPA firm or rely on the CPA firm that we have now, which is Cullen Danowski, and just rely on them for more of a review.
So I appreciate your comment and what you have stated. We will look into this further, but as far as we are all aware, everything that we've been stated, we have received, that the $175,000 is designated to the financial consultant. So until I see something else in writing, this is everything that we were told. That's number one. Number two, we've already have stated that with the financial consultant, it will be as a per diem. We'll watch everything. One of the things, if we pull the financial consultant back, we already have our firms in place. And one of the reasons that we asked someone to come in was to make sure that it would allow the board as well as the community to have a second look at everything. This is something that we're not going to keep for the next 2, 3, 4 years. It's something that we're going to have in place for 1 year as we continue to address and change the financial situation that we're in. So we've heard your point. Thank you so much for your point.
I would like to further comment on that. I do have an email from John Pierre's office confirming everything that I just said, stating that there's no parameters around the $2 million. I'm happy to share that with the board. I just received that today.
That'll
Also,
be good because
Sure,
as
no
a board,
problem.
we had no idea that
I-
this is something that you had received, and it would have been helpful if you had let us know about it.
I only just had this phone conversation late today, so I'm happy to share
That'd
that
be
with you.
nice.
It's no problem.
Thank you.
And the other thing is, I understand what you're saying with the financial consultant, but it's a retired business official assisting our current business official, an assistant to the assistant, and we're almost $1 million in the hole again. So, we're not any better off right now. I'm not sure how we're going to make that up. So that's my point. I'll be happy to
Okay.
share the email.
Thank you. All those in favor and 3A1, please? Because I got the first, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Juan, Leslie, I didn't hear anything.
Yep.
Aye.
Yeah.
5 and
One
1 no.
opposed.
I just want to ask a question to Ms. Canestro. I understand you bring this up in public, but I'm just curious. It would have been very productive if we could have had this conversation during executive. I'm sorry, is this not on?
It's on.
If you could have brought this up during executive, because it would have been very productive to have this conversation. If you had this information, obviously you did not share it with us and we have different information. So I'm just asking you in the future, if, not to withhold information that would be very valuable to share with the entire board during executive.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I understand what you're saying. I just want to explain maybe a little bit of how I came about this. To make a decision as a trustee and as a fiduciary, I do look for backup. I did ask if there was backup. I was told there was no backup. So I independently fact find because I felt that I couldn't make a good decision on this. So I had a phone call. They got back to me. So it was a whole thing. As far as bringing it up in executive session first, I will say the place to have deliberations is in public per open meetings law. This was the place to bring it up. I'm happy to share with that. I will be opposing this. If this is something you want to table until you see the email.
No, it was already voted on.
Okay, so my vote still stands as no.
Can I have a motion for agenda item 3A2, please?
So moved.
Carol Seehoff is first.
Second.
Leslie Kretz is second. Any questions regarding this item?
Yes, I do have a question for the 13,500. I just want to make sure it's already in the budget to
It is.
pay for that. So
Yes.
that we have the money. Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3A3, please? Jeanette Santos, Leslie Kretz, any questions regarding this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Agenda items 3B 1 through 5. Can I do them together or do I need to do them separately?
Together's fine.
Right. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3B1 through 3B5, please?
Go ahead. So moved.
Second.
Leslie Kretz is first. Wendy Canestro is second. Any questions regarding any of these agenda items? Hearing, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm waiting. Did everyone say aye?
I said aye, yeah.
Okay. Motion carries 6-0. At this point in time, we're just going to pause to recognize two individuals. Dr. Talbot, yep.
Yes, we would like to celebrate with two individuals who are present with us on this evening for this significant acknowledgement of tenure for Principal Rose Hutcherson, Edmund W. Miles Middle School Principal. At this time, we ask Mr. Evan Vargas, AAA President, if he would come forward to acknowledge his member, Principal Hutchison. Congratulations.
Good evening, Evan Farkas, AAA President. First off, thank you to our Central Administration and Board of Education. This really means a lot to us and more importantly to our Edmund W. Miles Middle School. And it's a great honor today to celebrate Mrs. Rose Hutcherson. We are very excited and proud of you, Ms. Hutcherson. Your dedication and passion for education has greatly impacted our students and staff. Your leadership ensures that every student receives an amazing educational experience. On behalf of the Amityville Administrators Association, congratulations. Your commitment and vision to continue to inspire us all. We look forward to many more years of success under your exceptional leadership. Congratulations.
Once again, congratulations, Ms. Hutchison, on behalf of the Board of Education, myself, your superintendent, and our central administration. We look forward to a continued dynamic working relationship and moving things forward for our student scholars. Thank you for your service. At this time, the Board of Ed has acknowledged the probationary appointment of Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction to our very own Ms. Mary Stevens. Ms. Mary Stevens, if you would like to come forward and give remarks of thanks. Yes, you may come forward to just give remarks of thanks. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know you're well equipped and we look forward to working with you in this capacity.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much to the board for your vote of confidence. I'm very excited about working with the teams in all of the buildings. We are looking forward to rolling out some new standards, some curriculum projects. We're going to hit the ground running, and I'm very excited about what's to come. Thank you.
Once again, congratulations and thank you.
For agenda items 3C1 through 3C7, can I do them all together or does anyone need to do them independently? Okay. All right. Can I have a motion for agenda items 3C1 through 3C7, please?
So moved. Second.
Jeanette Santos first, Wendy Canestro second. Any questions regarding these agenda items? Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. Can I do, well, 3D, could I have a motion for agenda item 3D1, please?
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry. Carol Seal first, Wendy Knestro second. Any questions regarding this agenda item?
I do have something on this. I reviewed all the financials, which I think I said at the last meeting. I think it's abundant and it's good information. I do see that we have an overage again. I'd like to know, with the year coming to a close, what are the plans to make up for that deficit?
Dr. Taub? And then I'll-
So there are a number of initiatives that are underway in terms of increasing revenue and decreasing expenditures. I'd ask Ms. Bawatsi to elaborate a little more, as she's been working diligently along with Mr. Frazier to close this gap.
We've been looking at all the sources of revenues, which we typically call miscellaneous revenue, foster child tuition, any homeless aid that we are entitled to, or any billing that we have to bill other school districts for health services, for students who don't belong to this, who don't reside in this school district. We are looking at everything meticulously. We are also looking at our encumbrances. Anything that we don't have to pay for, we are looking at it very critically. And we'll be reviewing every purchase order as we go along until the audit is completed in about September. So it is a thorough process, and we'll be relaying that also to our independent auditor who will be looking at our books at the end of the year. So this is really, really a thorough process.
I guess I just have one more question. So, you know, this is where we are now. When do you have to finalize or like make up that money? Is there a time frame? Like if you close the books at, the end of the school year is June 30th. So I'm wondering.
It goes beyond June 30th
Yeah.
because a lot of expenses
Come in later, right,
come
I
in later.
understand.
You get all kinds of bills coming later after June 30th. And some of those things we have to even accrue, and depending on what the auditors tell us, what we'll be working closely with them. We have to accrue some expenses. We have to accrue some revenues. It's a whole process all the way through October until they present their final report to the board and the community.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions
One more
regarding?
comment, one more comment. We're also looking at past reports that were submitted to the state to review them to verify that the numbers are accurate. And if they're not accurate, then we will revise them by the end of June this month, report it to the state. That will have an impact on our state aid going forward.
Oh, okay, great. And when do we get state aid? When does the state aid come in? Or when does the 2 million come in? When does that usually come in?
They will send us a letter as to when we'll get the state aid.
Well, that's usually in the spring or something, right?
Usually in the spring, yes.
Do we know about the 2 million when we might get that?
Yeah, I look at the Senate and Assembly's approval. It wasn't there, so that should be a special legislative grant. So we'll be tracking it to see when they are going
Okay.
to give it to us.
We just don't know have the date yet.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments regarding this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Can I do agenda items 3E1 through 3E43 altogether?
Yeah.
Can I have a motion for agenda item 3E1 to 3E43?
So moved.
Leslie
Second.
Kretz is first. Wendy Canestro is second. Any questions regarding any of these items? Legal, all the contracts have been reviewed, correct?
Correct.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Can I do agenda items 3F1 through 3F3 altogether? Can I have a motion for agenda items 3F1 to 3F3, please?
So moved.
Leslie Kretz is first. Wendy Canestro is second. Any questions regarding these agenda items? Seeing or hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Right, any community input regarding non-board agenda items?
Debbie McQuillan. The budget status, obviously, we're hearing some details that are coming out. I sent a letter to the district clerk on Monday asking for when the budget status was coming to us. You have said previously at other meetings that we were going to get an update. You said we were going to get an update June 5th or June 12th. June 5th went by, June 12th is here, and I didn't get a response to the email because I was requesting it. And you did promise the community that you would give the budget status. What is 23-24 looking like?
So originally, our auditor was scheduled to come on tonight, but due to the extent of the beautiful evening, he's been rescheduled for July. So in July, we will provide an update to the community on the financial status.
Okay. I would appreciate if I would have been replied to, only because I put a lot of time into looking at that report. And I'm looking at it and comparing it to this current year's budget. And there's a lot of stuff that you see that existed in 22-23 that is existing in 23-24 in terms of amounts and where the big problems were. And you can almost see a pattern. So it's important. So you told the union president that we were going to get a report in June. You told me multiple times, other people. It just would have been nice to have an update that you don't have an update at least. Don't ignore it.
So we acknowledge that and we're not ignoring it.
I
And
know,
so
but-
we'll announce at this time that it's coming in July.
Okay, but if I
During
didn't
my
ask-
superintendent's report, I was going to announce that,
Okay.
which we've not gotten to as of yet. I did not receive your email, which was addressed to the district clerk, who was absent today. I'm not sure if
Monday.
you sent it today.
No, Monday.
But once it is forwarded to me, we'll be more than happy to give you a response.
No, I sent it on Monday. And she replied. Massapequa, I would just encourage the board to maybe look at Massapequa's website. The financial reports that are adopted at every meeting are on the website, all 10, 12 of them, whatever it is. So whatever you're adopting is on their website, the same type of reports. I think there's we go a long way with everything that was lost and all the jobs, the students, everything they lost. But the community feel like, we're not hiding anything, here it is. We're approving it, and now it's up on the website. I would encourage that. Other districts do it too, not just Massapequa, right? And the last item is the grant philosophy. First time I approached you guys a couple of years ago, I spoke about the philosophy of accepting grant money and what is your philosophy? Do you just take the money, run the program, it's successful? Oh, we don't have the money, the program ceased to exist. We spoke about stuff like that and how important it is. And I'm just wondering, with everything that we learned in the forensic report, with all the hiring that was done and the lack of communication with losing all this now money, were we going to keep all those teachers forever? Like, what was the philosophy on that one? Were you planning on keeping the teachers?
So I'll start to answer and I can hand it over to Dr. Talbot or if she wants to hand over to Dr. Lang. The original, and that was actually previous before Dr. Talbot, some of the thought process was to potentially try to hold on to some of the individuals that were hired. That was what that was information that was provided to us from previous administration. So that was the plan, was to try to hold on to some of the individuals. Maybe not all, but for some of them.
So people were hired knowing that.
We were told that people were hired knowing that they were grant funded.
All right, thank you.
I think all of us will agree that communication is a real important product
Excuse
here.
me, can you just give your name, please?
Yeah, Robert Playa.
Thank you.
And from what I heard, emails are sent but not read. Letters are sent, but they're staggered along the line somewhere. What is the best way to communicate with the board?
Communication with the board, if there's something for the Board of Education, goes to the district clerk, which is Melissa Durnan. And then from that point, she will forward it over to us. Sometimes people will send an email like directly to me, like the board president. I cannot respond to that email independently. It has to go to the entire board, and we have to answer as a board. There are times if a question comes in, depending what it is, I also will forward over to the superintendent, and the superintendent will be the one that could answer the question, because she can answer on her own, but I can't answer as an independent board. Has to be, the entire board has to be in agreement.
Is there a backup for the district clerk if she or he is absent to make sure that you get that information at an appropriate time?
No, because she is the only one that has access to her emails. She's only was out, today. Right?
Well,
She was
that's
out, she
my-
was out last week. Usually what will happen is that if there's anything of urgency, she will definitely communicate, to myself or to Dr. Talbot that something came in that needs to be addressed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions regarding non-agenda items?
Good evening. My name is Alexa Perez. I am a freshman at Amityville Memorial High School, and I've been attending these Board of Education meetings for a long time, and I wanted to speak up. I'm currently disgusted at the state of our school. You claim that you have the students' best interest in mind, and you take our mental health into account. Yet how could this be true when the teachers we trusted and connected with are being stripped away from us? These people are not just employees. They're valuable members of society who shape us students to become better versions of ourselves. You think that they don't matter. You think that the growth of our students don't matter, that our entire community just doesn't matter. When you fail to realize that all of us matter, you fail to realize that our youth is tomorrow. Without these teachers who create a significant impact in our lives, we cannot strive to create a future for ourselves and in the world. We're only being harmed because of your carelessness and selfish decisions. We as students, as teachers, as a community, and as human beings are not a priority to you. It's our teachers who lose their jobs and sources of outcome, our students who lose mentors. But this doesn't affect you because you get to still sit here and make decisions and get your paycheck. You were put in charge and you failed us. You want us to turn a blind eye to this, but it's time for you to take accountability. Our teachers deserve to be heard and our students deserve to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to come out and speak.
Okay. Hello, my name is Caleb Rivera, and I am a sophomore at Amityville Memorial High School. Our school district is facing many serious issues that need attention. There is an unacceptable level of security in our school, and the fact that the vice principal has stopped more fights in our school than security guards is scary. Our security guards should be able to protect us and keep us safe, but they have been, their job has been like inefficient in doing so. All the drug problems within the school district is very worrying. Students have snuck backstage and tampered with drama clubs, props, and smoked weed while doing so. As a member of the high school drama club department, this is extremely disrespectful to our wonderful teachers who put and supplied our props, but also our students, stage crew, and actors. This has been ignored for far too long, and it makes it clear that our administrators see our art and music departments as lower than more other subjects and extracurriculars in our school. Besides that, there have been multiple other incidents of students vaping and smoking on school grounds. These problems deserve immediate attention to prevent the incoming freshmen from having negative environments in our school. Lastly, I would like to ask about the high school and middle school chorus and how they will be continuing. How does the school plan to continue these classes as our chorus teacher is being accessed? This class is extremely important to me and many of my peers and has fundamentally shaped us. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to say thank you so much as students to come out and speak. It takes a lot to do it, so we appreciate you coming out to share your concerns.
Hi,
You can
Dina.
lower the mic.
I could do a tippy toes too. Dina Rosenberg.
So, yeah, hold on, sorry.
It's okay. I should try this in my son's room in the morning. It'd be very effective to get him out of bed. 34 Wellington Place. Just a point of clarification regarding subject matter appropriate for executive session. My training is on village government level, which is very different, but I know for the training that I received, subject matters where like for executive sessions, which in the 2 years I only had one, was anything regarding personnel, anything regarding litigation, anything regarding like the sale of an asset where public discourse would tamper with the sale price. I'm assuming with school districts, anything regarding children and students would be privileged as well. We were never allowed to have conversations about finances or money as it related to the budget in executive session. Is that allowed for school districts?
No, usually when we are talking about, it's usually connected to individuals' names, which makes it part of employment history, and that's what it
Right.
is.
Just because I thought I heard a trustee say that bringing up money shouldn't be in the public, but should be in executive session, but I thought that was disallowed.
Go ahead, Mr.
So
Chair.
it's not money, it is matters leading to the appointment of a particular person or
Right.
corporation. So if there are matters leading to the appointment of a particular
Okay.
corporation or person, that's appropriate for public discussion.
Okay.
That's
But
appropriate for
regarding,
executive session
talking
discussion.
about, monies or monies being.
The general cost of something is public.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Hi, my name is Ada Fanning Holmes, and I'm here on behalf of the varsity cheer team. We have a goal to attend nationals in February of this upcoming year, and we would like the board to approve for us to go to a cheer camp in Pennsylvania in August. We are fundraising so that the board won't have to pay for any of this. You guys approved our funds, but we need to be able, we need to approve it to go this August, because if we wait longer, it will cost more for busing and we won't be able to raise that much money. Oh, so yeah, we just need to be approved to go, and maybe that could happen sooner rather than later, so it won't cost us more.
Thank you so much for coming to the mic and sharing the information. Dr. Talbot has heard the information, and we'll follow up to find out when that would be taking place and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Jacqueline Stevenson. I just wanted to make a suggestion. I recently read something on New York State School Board Association's website where there's a possibility that in 25, 26, it would be required for all school boards to have. Hold on one second. It will be required for all school boards to have a student representative. Again, this will be possibly in 25, 26. So I just wanted to make a suggestion. I can email this article to the district clerk that you all consider doing that prior to 25, 26, because as you can see tonight, the students have great input and would, I feel, would be beneficial to the board.
Yeah, no, thank you for the suggestion. I know there are other school districts already who have a student representative on the board. And you don't have to forward to us because we all have received that particular email, but it's something that as we move forward as a board, it's something that we definitely can talk about and say, before it becomes a requirement, is it something that we would like to do currently? Thank you for the suggestion.
Good evening, board members, directors, administration. My name is Rosa Tejada Torres, 19 South Ronald Drive, Amityville. I feel, plus many Amityville residents that I know, would like the board to approve the new board member that we're missing a seat for before our new board members take over for the seat. The reason why we feel it should be done right away is because the board that we have here now are very experienced and they know the rules and the regulations. And the new board members that will attend haven't done the training and won't have the requirements. So I feel that the board should approve the seat for the new trustee before the two board members leave in July 1st, please.
Thank you. Any other comments regarding non-agenda items? Seeing none, we're gonna leave non-agenda items and move forward. So we're probably gonna have to go back into executive session, right, for some additional advice from legal. But before we do that, Dr. Talbot?
We just wanted to once again acknowledge our honorees, our retirees, those who've been devoted to the Amityville School District for 20, 25, and 30 years. Thank you once again for your service. In July, Cullen and Danowski will be with us to provide a financial update on the 22-23 budget as it presently stands. And our financial consultant, along with our business official, will be working in concert to ensure the community is up to date where we are. We do have an announcement from the curriculum department that I think will make everyone happy. Dr. Lang.
Thank you very much. At the last board meeting, a question was raised by a community member regarding the Leaders of Tomorrow program. And as of that date, I had to admit that we would not be able to continue the Leaders of Tomorrow during the 24-25 school year. However, on Thursday, I was notified that we did receive the grant for an additional year. So I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah, we do. Dr. Talbot, do you have anything else? Okay, just one thing. Next year, I want to bring up, the whole board has received proposed Board of Education meeting dates as well as the new individuals that will be coming on. So some of the things that the Board of Education is looking at is for some of the months not to have 2 meetings. And so, for example, our reorganization meeting will be on Thursday, July 13th. July 11th, sorry, Thursday, July 11th. I'm looking at it, reading the wrong date. The Board of Education is also looking to do a board retreat, which will be from New York State School Board Association, and we're looking at July 17th, and the new board members are aware of this. In August, there will be 2 meetings. Instead of being the first and second Wednesdays of the month, we're going to go to every other Wednesday, hopefully to allow a little bit more time to get information together. So it'll be Wednesday, August the 14th, and Wednesday, August the 28th. September will be 2 meetings, the 11th and the 25th. In October, November, December, and January, we are looking to do 1 meeting, October 23rd, November 20th, December 11th, and January 22nd. February will be 2 meetings, the 12th and the 26th. March will be 2 meetings, the 12th and the 26th. April will be 2 meetings, the 9th and the 23rd, and May would be 2 meetings, May 7th and May 21st, and June 14th and June 18th. So the biggest change, we're not looking at the first 2 Wednesdays of the month. We're looking to do every other and looking to do 1 meeting a month. As we move forward, our goal would be to go down to just 1 meeting a month all the way. So the board has received the meeting dates and have reviewed them. Does anyone have any comments about these proposed meeting dates?
I would like to ask to consider to have August to have 1 meeting. Usually August is a quiet month.
We had looked at having August as only 1 meeting. Some of the things that have happened is that we've had such an increase in hiring.
Oh, for
Right, so-
appointments?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
no-
appointments. So when we didn't have a meeting, then we had to put a meeting. So that's why it's there at this point in time, right? So any other comments regarding meeting dates for next year? Right. So there's a couple of things. I just want to acknowledge from the New York State School Board Association Board Excellence Award to Carol Seahawk for participation in New York State Board Association Leadership Development Opportunities totaling 150 points for this year of 23-24. So congratulations, Carol. And just to update the committee in regards to the vacant seat, the Board of Education has received, not the board, but the district clerk has received emails as requested regarding the vacant seat. I believe she said the number is roughly about maybe 6 or 7. We don't know the names of all of the individuals who have submitted except for one individual. And the board will be looking at these emails. We're hoping to do it, if not tomorrow night. I think the 12th or the 13th, we're looking at a date to review the candidates that have been submitted. From that point, the board will interview the candidates and then we'll make a selection from there. So the board was asked by Melissa to complete a Google Sheet in terms of availability for meeting dates. I'm wide open, so I have not put in any dates. So I'm going to work around what everyone else is available at that point in time. Right, so also under the Board of Education, not under our area, if the district clerk was here, then I would have the district clerk do it, but the district clerk is not here. But for the vacant seat that we have, there were about maybe 15 emails that were received for an individual who has expressed an interest in having the vacant seat. So not until the entire board comes together to review all of those candidates that have been submitted, then from that point, we'll let the community know who the candidates are. But to share, I just want to let everyone know that there was one individual who has submitted a request for the seat, and there were 15, I think there were 15 emails that were sent to the district clerk in support of that particular individual. Any other questions, other comments from the board members before we go back into executive session?
Yeah, just to clarify, we didn't see that. The board didn't see any of that.
No, the board did not.
We
see
didn't
it.
see that because I think we're going to see it together.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. The board is aware of only one individual.
Right.
Right, but no one else, we don't know anyone else. I just know the potential number, but I don't know any names.
I just have one house cleaning item, just about when there's a walk-on resolution. I know it was mentioned here before, and it happened in the past too, when I was actually in the audience. I would just ask that the clerk somehow put it on the agenda or update it, because the minutes don't correlate like to the agenda, they correlate to the agenda and the agenda item's not there. So maybe if we can get that, whenever that happens, there's a walk-on item.
Okay.
Yeah.
You talk about the minutes from the meeting from today?
No, that one was, well, the financial advisor, I think, was in March.
Okay, you're talking about previously.
And then we had something, I don't know, like a year or two ago that didn't go on. I don't remember the date of it.
Okay.
But
Right. Thank you. So, John, just make sure I'm correct for the reason going back. It's advice from counsel regarding a litigation update, is that?
It's advice of counsel and labor negotiations.
Right. Can I have a motion to go back into executive session for advice from counsel and negotiation updates? And it is, it's 9:55. When we come out of executive session, there will be no action that we would be taken. Going to close out.
okay.
No.
Can we, do we have to,
Can I have a motion to resume open at 10:55?
So moved.
Second.
Carol Sear first, Winnie Knistral second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Present at the meeting right now is Lisa Johnson, Board President, Wendy Canestro, Trustee, Juan Leon, Trustee, Leslie Kretz, Trustee, Carol Seehoff, Second Vice President, Jeanette Santos has left the meeting. Also present is Dr. Talbert, Dr. Lang, Dr. Waite, Ms. Watsy, Carl Frazier, and legal, Mr. Sheenan. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, which is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024 at 10:56?
So moved.
Carol Seehoff is first. Wendy Canestro is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you and good night.